Thank you for the welcome. I declare this congregation to be in session. Please remain standing and join with us in singing the traditional graduation song, Gade Amus, the words of which are printed on the screen. Please be seated. Aina waka, aina mona kawhahi, ana taiwha tēnā koutou katoa. Kia orana, talofa lava, malo e laumali, whakalofa lahi atu, talohani, whakatalofu atu, Nisa Bula, Ni Menhau, Na Massey, Mahaba. A very warm welcome to this, your ceremony. Welcome also to Massey University's Manawatū Graduation Week. The 6 ceremonies in Palmerston North this week are the second in the graduation season, which began in Auckland last month and will conclude in Wellington in a fortnight. My name is Chris Kelly. I'm a proud Massey graduate and have served on the Massey Council since 2005. This week we have a total of 1,209 due to cross the stage and graduate. Of these, 45 will be conferred with the highest academic qualification the university offers, a doctoral degree. At this ceremony we have 109 graduands, of whom 9 will be masters and 7 PhDs. Graduation Day is a day of celebration, an opportunity for the university and you, your whānau, your family and friends, to recognise your hard work and success. Technology now makes it easier to share your big day with a wider audience. All our ceremonies are streamed live on the internet, and there is a link to the Massey University homepage, which I'm sure many of the more technologically minded of you in today's audience may have already located. Please feel free to text, tweet, or email a link to anyone you know who are unable to attend today. It will be a permanent record of what I'm sure for many of you will be amongst your proudest moments. And while talking of recognition, it's important that you remember to thank those people who have backed you and contributed to your success during your studies. Family, friends, and last but by no means least, the faculty and support staff of the university. To ensure you don't forget, I would like you to join me in acknowledging them now. The ceremony we're about to go through today is traditional. It has its roots in graduation ceremonies developed some 800 years ago. The traditions such as the robes we wear, capping, the mace, the singing of Gaudiamus and awarding of honorary degrees to outstanding citizens link us to the strong heritage of universities. Universities are institutions of higher learning in which the teaching and learning environment is provided by academics actively involved in the creation of new knowledge through research and scholarship. You will graduate today as a beneficiary of a university education. As university graduates, you will be critical to the future social, economic and cultural development of your communities. As a graduate of Massey University, you will inherit the reputation of this highly regarded institution. The reputation of a university is built on the achievements of its past and current faculty and past students. Evidence of the achievements of our faculty and alumni like Sir Richard Taylor, Kate Sylvester and Sir Graham Henry, to mention a few, is all around us. We pride ourselves on producing people who can put New Zealand on the global map for its innovation, creativity, research and teaching. And we celebrate all our can-do graduates who get out there and make a difference. It's this performance track that allows us to rightly claim to be the engine of the new New Zealand. The number of accolades, awards, prizes and other recognitions received this last year by our current students and faculty indicates our track record will continue to grow. The university is a major New Zealand business with a turnover of more than $400 million annually and is a very significant employer in the 3 regions in which it has a presence. The management is led by the Vice-Chancellor, who is equivalent to the Chief Executive Officer, and governance is a responsibility of the University Council, currently consisting of a mix of appointees, members elected by students, staff, and our large alumni body of more than 130,000. You may be aware that the Minister of Tertiary Education plans to reduce the size of all university councils to a maximum of 12 members on the grounds that this will result in a greater commercial focus, faster and better decision making. In my view, however, a university is much more than just a business. For example, its prices are controlled by the government's fee-setting regulations. A university has social responsibilities to its students, to its staff, and to advance learning to society as a whole. Its range of stakeholders are much wider than a company's and therefore demands a much greater representation at the governance level. Going forward, we must ensure that we retain diversity on the university's governing body. It's important on these occasions to celebrate some of Massey's successes. We have a firm eye on the future and this year launched our updated strategy called Shaping the Nation and Taking the Best to the World. The short title is The Road to 2025. The major shift is to push out our time horizon to just over a decade from now and putting in place our responses to the forces that drive not only Massey's future but New Zealand's, things like globalisation, technology-based learning, population diversity, partnerships with other organisations around the world, and of course the growth of our largest city, Auckland. Our Vice-Chancellor, the Honourable Steve Mahari's recent visit to China coincided with a delegation led by the Prime Minister. We have a strong commitment to growing our opportunities in the international arena, and our expertise in agri-food creates enormous potential for growth, particularly in Asia. One of the advantages Massey has in its globalisation agenda is that we are a diverse university with a broad range of strengths. There are many compatibilities in those areas of strengths, in design and in arts. In agriculture, in which we are ranked now 19th in the world against all other world universities, an outstanding achievement, is underpinned by science and food production and remains New Zealand's largest and biggest business, which in turn links with nutrition and health, both human and animal. Our diversity in campuses and modes of learning gives students options that other providers are unable to offer. In Manawatū, our original and largest campus, we have several major construction projects underway. These include restoration and seismic strengthening of the Sir Geoffrey Perrin building, being part of the $58 million heritage restoration and Hokowhitu relocation project, as well as a $75 million upgrade and expansion of the veterinary complex that will allow us to graduate up to an additional 40 graduands from one of our certainly signature programs. We also have exciting plans for future development for the Food HQ Super Campus in partnership with several neighbouring research organisations. Many of you will be aware that 2014 marks 50 years since Massey became a university. Our roots as an agricultural college date back to 1927 and through the design school in Wellington to the 19th century. This year also marks 50 years of our groundbreaking and world-leading food technology program. The faculty was formed to build on Massey's reputation as an institute that supports the primary industries, turning great ingredients into world-leading exports. When Massey's Bachelor of Food Technology degree was introduced in 1964, it was a first for New Zealand. Today, this innovative degree continues to ensure Massey leads New Zealand in the education of food technologists. Currently, we face some challenges with the softening of enrolments being felt across the sector. It's important, however, that young people recognise the value of ongoing learning and tertiary qualifications in a world where the nature of employment and the types of jobs people do is changing. That means those who succeed will be those who have learned how to learn and to adopt and adapt. Congratulations to you who have taken the time to take up that challenge to be where you are today. You will graduate proud of your achievement, but also honoured by the reputational mantle that you have inherited. I challenge you to go forth as Massey alumni, to make your own contribution, to grow your own reputation, and in doing so add further to the proud heritage you are now part of. As part of your journey, we anticipate many of you will come back to us as you face the never-ending quest to keep your skills and knowledge up to date. You can be assured that Massey will be there to meet the need, whether it be through a course of full-time study or part-time through our world-class distance learning program. Finally, I would urge you to stay connected with your alma mater and your university family through our active alumni associations. Congratulations, continue to work hard and enjoy yourselves. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. By the authority of the Council of Massey University, I, Christopher Kelly, Chancellor, will now award the certificates and diplomas and confer the degrees on those to be presented and on those in absentia.
Chancellor, the Program Director of Agri-Commerce will present to you graduates and recipients of certificates and diplomas in the College of Sciences.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the Diploma in Horticulture the candidate I am about to name. Ruth Joy Higginson. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Agri-Commerce the graduands I am about to name. Grant Stewart Brunton. Emma Claire Cameron. Richard Kevin Clough. Nicholas Samuel Costa. Connor Thomas Donovan. Diana Cecilia Green. Joseph Roderick Morgan. Lucy Elizabeth Moss. Jenna Marie O'Sullivan. Gabriel Phoebe Hudson Paulin. Ardell Allen Roberts. Keegan Luke Rodley. Christopher James Rutten. Neil Philip William Smith. Troy Kaylin Stevenson. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Agri-Science the graduands I am about to name. Kyung Ya Mickey Allen. Chelsea Rose Atkin. Alexandra Catherine Barrow. James William Zachary Beattie. Cameron Graham Black. Rachel Emma Chloe Blackley. Kim Louise Bowden. Laura Michelle Brebner. Scott Douglas Birch. Sarah Ann Campbell. Carla Ellen Carter. Christopher Paul Cleaver. Caitlin Elizabeth Oldfield Corp. Kelsey Ann Espin. Louise Ann Galley. Jennifer Margaret Louise Grubb. Storm Free Habib. Jared Mervyn Harvey. Elizabeth Jean Horn. Bridget Marie Kershaw. Anika Elizabeth Koyman. Sahid Shiraz Javan Lauji. Irene Lorenzo Martin. Nicholas Glenn McCulloch. David John McIntyre. Jessica Louise Morrison. Anthony David Moritz. Ashley Elizabeth Nichols. Lachlan Preston Payne. Lydia Ruth Palmer. Jamie Louise Pepper. Michael John Peters. Amanda Genevieve Pottinger. Vanessa Josina Dora Robinson. Amy Malis Smith. Christy Page Southern. Isabel May Tate. Lincoln Guy Thompson. Paul Edward Tremlett Johnston. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Applied Science the graduand I am about to name. Andrew Alexander Hutchinson. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Science the graduands I am about to name. Hayley Alice Benfell. Jacob Thomas Hamilton Brown. Ashley Megan Clements. Lucy Susanna Hall. Harriet Isabel Block Lawrence. Ross Norman MacDonald. Thomas William Mills. Latasha Ann Murray. Charlotte Breyer Reid. Natalie Ann Rose. Rachel Donna Shanks, Massey Scholar. Thank you, Chancellor.
We will now proceed with the award of our Massey University Medal. Vice-Chancellor.
Chancellor, Dr. Ron Jackson will read the citation for the award of a Massey Medal. Dr. Jackson.
Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to present this citation in support of the award of the Massey Medal to my close friend and colleague for the past 25 years, Emeritus Professor Roger Morris. Roger graduated with honours as a veterinarian from Sydney University in 1966 and proceeded to a production animal clinical teaching position at the University of Melbourne. While working there, he undertook 3 years coursework in agricultural economics and 2 in pure and applied mathematics and computer science. All of these also completed with honours. Roger put these skills to good effect in his master's thesis, The Economics of Bovine Mastitis Control Systems, which he completed in 1973, and his PhD studies on the use of computer modelling in epidemiological and economic studies of animal diseases, which he completed at the University of Reading in 1977. He then moved from Melbourne to Canberra in 1976, where he was Assistant Chief Veterinary Officer for the Australian Department of Primary Industries until 1981, at which time he returned to academia as Professor of Veterinary Medicine and Head of the Department of Clinical and Population Sciences in the University of Minnesota. For us, in 1986, he was appointed as Gilruth Professor of Animal Health at Massey University, where he gradually developed the epicentre from its small beginnings to its current status as a world-renowned veterinary epidemiology teaching and research group. Now, along the way, he's collected many prestigious awards which recognise his skills and achievement. Companion of the New Zealand Order of Merit for Services to Veterinary Science, Fellowships of the Royal Society of New Zealand, the Australian and New Zealand College of Veterinary Scientists, the American College of Epidemiologists, Food Standards Australia, New Zealand, and also the Australian Veterinary Association Kesteven Medal for distinguished contribution to international veterinary science in the fields of technical and scientific assistance to developing countries. The Royal Society of New Zealand Hutton Medal and the Calvin W. Schwabe Award, which honours lifetime achievement in veterinary epidemiology and preventive medicine. Now, epidemiologists are always interested in causal pathways, and in line with that way of thinking, I offer my perceptions of the Roger Morris intrinsic factors that were influential to his success and the success of the epicentre. He puts great value in empirical data and the application of its analysis for control of diseases and production-limiting disorders. He certainly likes to keep his feet on the ground and freely admits that he gets great enjoyment from working at village level in low-income countries. I'm sure that this contributes to his uncanny ability to sort out the methods by which diseases spread. There's many activities in international organisations which include the World Health Organization, the World Organization for Animal Health, the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, and the World Bank, helped him obtain large contracts for research on major epidemics including tuberculosis, bovine spongiform encephalopathy, that's mad cow disease, H5N1 avian influenza, that's bird flu, and foot and mouth disease. These activities attracted high-quality postgraduate students, and he fostered a strong team culture within the epicentre, resourcing and supporting staff and his many students exceptionally well, and providing opportunities for them to present at national and international conferences. Roger challenges his students and is intensely supportive in times of need. He's innovative in research and has a very high success rate, despite sometimes taking on risky projects. His inclusion of computer programmers as part of the epicentre team led to the development of expert systems for national disease control programs, notably for Switzerland and more recently for Mongolia, as well as dairy and pig production recording software. Roger's also constantly asked by the media to comment on issues related to animal health and disease control. And he sees the communication of independent scientific judgments to the public and the farming communities as an important university function and responsibility. The epicentre, under Roger's guidance, became a world leader in the development of animal health economics and spatial epidemiology and the application of their methods for solving disease problems. Now, Roger retired in 2008, but since then he's been the architect of European Union World Bank funded One Health projects delivered by the epicentre in, China, Mongolia, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and Bhutan. These were highly innovative projects which involved a mix of face-to-face and online training of medical doctors and veterinarians together from these countries to master's level in epidemiology, and the formation of One Health hubs and innovative software to facilitate transfer of information between disciplines and across country borders. A total of 85 medicos and veterinarians have now graduated under these programs, and the funding to date has amounted to $13.4 million. The International Development Group has now been formed to seek and manage future projects. Roger continues to seek opportunities for this group, and we are confident that he ain't done yet. Roger's qualities and attributes make him a worthy recipient of the Massey Medal. Chancellor, it is my great pleasure to present Emeritus Professor Roger Morris to you for the awarding of the Massey Medal.
Come with me. Chancellor, I have the honour to present Emeritus Professor Roger Morris for the award of a Massey Medal. Come and sit down. I think we'll just sit for a second and I'll get you back up.
Thank you, Ron. That was a great citation. It is now my pleasure to invite Professor Emeritus Roger Morris to address the graduands.
I would first like to thank Massey University Council for honouring me in this way, and the Vice-Chancellor for his support and encouragement in my efforts to develop the international influence of Massey University. Next year it will be 50 years since I sat among the graduands at the University of Sydney to receive my veterinary degree, together with a number of New Zealanders who are the last to complete their veterinary degrees in Australia before the Massey Veterinary School opened and started taking New Zealand students. I grew up in Melbourne, south of that invisible line which at that time firmly separated the Australian rules football states from the rugby playing states in Australia. And amazing as it seems now, I had never seen a game of rugby, either in real life or on television, before I moved to Sydney. So one of my early memories after I arrived in Sydney was watching a rugby game between the Kiwis and the Sydney vet students and seeing my first scrum, which to someone who'd only played what Northerners call aerial ping pong was an amazing sight. We Southerners didn't know grown men did that kind of thing. When I sat among the graduands to receive my degree, my expectation was simply that I would be a field veterinarian and probably pursue a postgraduate degree if the opportunity arose. I had no conception at that time of what would happen over the course of my career and the various career stages I would go through. Looking back, I can now see 5 very different phases of my career that required very different skills and knowledge. As a new graduate, I worked as a field veterinary clinician and lecturer at the University of Melbourne, teaching students about my own age and realising every day how much I still needed to learn. Fortunately, I had a world leader in the field as my personal mentor, and he provided wise guidance and then friendship over the decades until he died very recently in his 90s. One of the main tasks I've seen for myself throughout my own career has been to emulate his mentorship for the many people I've had the opportunity to teach and advise. As I became more knowledgeable and gradually specialised in epidemiology and economics, I built a research program and started to establish links with the rest of the world. To do this, I had to learn new skills and expand my knowledge much faster than I'd ever done as an undergraduate. I was just beginning to feel that I was getting up to a pass mark in each of these fields when I was recruited to a senior role in the Australian government, where instead of cows and horses, I was immediately dealing with ministers and international negotiations. Suddenly I was back learning Politics 101 and gaining another set of new skills. No sooner was I beginning to feel I could handle this job than I was offered an opportunity to become a department head at the University of Minnesota and took my family off to the United States to experience life there. So it was back to the bottom of the learning curve again, with the additional challenge that when I lived and worked inside the American culture and political structure, I found the differences from my previous experiences were far greater than I initially expected. I could fully endorse the view of George Bernard Shaw that Britain and the United States are 2 countries separated by a common language. When I was offered a chair at Massey University and the chance to escape from management back into leading a research team, I came to New Zealand and spent 23 very enjoyable and productive years here at Massey University. Then finally, I phased myself out of my academic role to focus on international development and research funding policy in my 5th career. I have no idea whether careers 6 and 7 still await. I'm not alone in having multiple different careers. The Chancellor and I first met a very long time ago, I won't tell you how long, when we both taught as clinicians at the University of Melbourne, and he has notched up a few more very successful careers than I have. The Vice-Chancellor has also had multiple different careers since I first knew him 20 years ago. Dr. Ron Jackson, who's just said kind words about me, retired from veterinary practice and undertook a PhD with me, which he completed when he was already in his 60s, and since then he's had a complete new career in international consultancy, which has taken him all over the world. My purpose in telling you this as you graduate is to let you see how new and exciting opportunities open up as you move through your careers. As new graduates in 2014, you face a much more flexible and stimulating future than I did, because the world is evolving much faster than it was 50 years ago. Most of the activities you'll be undertaking in the later stages of your careers don't yet exist. When you're doing all those exams and assignments in order to get to graduation, it seems like you're stuffing yourself full of knowledge. But in fact, what Massey University offers is the opportunity to build your problem-solving ability and your capacity to face new challenges and overcome them. Gaining specific knowledge is just one of the processes by which you develop your skills. The value of the factual information you gather through your university education decays quite rapidly and is replaced by new and different information. But the skill in facing and solving new problems that a university education provides stays with you for life. When I first travelled around the world in 1969, I very naively thought I needed to see everything and learn everything I possibly could, because I might never have another opportunity to travel overseas. In those days, flying around the world was a major adventure which very few people had the opportunity to do. Since then, air travel has become just a routine activity for most people. That's taken me personally to about 50 countries, and already this year I've been to Asia 4 times. I'm just back a few days from Mongolia, and I find it intriguing that among the countries I visit regularly, the two that seem to capture people's imagination are Mongolia and Bhutan. I get lots of people who express envy that I get to these countries quite often and tell me how much they'd like to travel there. These are both very interesting countries, but they're also among the most challenging I visit for travelling. And as I was preparing this address, sitting on a plane on my way back from Mongolia, I thought that these two countries provide a very good metaphor for the journeys you will make as new graduates. Mongolia is a very large country with few roads and no fences, just nomadic herders and their flocks. Instead of cows, they milk horses, yaks, and reindeer. To drive to the eastern border, which is 11 hours away from the capital, you spend the first hour on a road. Then the road ends, and the rest of the way you're guided purely by GPS navigation, bumping across the grasslands for 10 hours to the destination town, with no landmarks at all to guide you. You see many individual gears, the tents that Mongolians live in, dotted along the way, but only one very tiny village in the whole distance. Being a new graduate is a bit like travelling in Mongolia. There's a road to follow for a short distance after you graduate, then it's GPS navigation through unmarked landscape from there. Bhutan offers a different challenge because in driving through the Himalayas, you know where the road is, but it's very rough, and there's usually a mountain on one side and a deep ravine on the other side. In travelling down from the high Himalayas to the tropical area at the Indian border, Each time I've gone down there, our way has been blocked at least once by a major rockfall that happened minutes before we arrived, fortunately, and covered the entire road, blocking our way. Occasionally you pass a sign saying, "Beware of falling rocks," but I'm not sure what you're meant to do if you see a big one coming down the mountain at high speed. In most countries, if you're faced with a blocked road of that nature, you would either turn back or wait for the bulldozers to arrive in a few hours and clear the way. The Bhutanese are more resourceful. They all take axes and shovels out of their cars, which they obviously keep for such occasions, since they're very common. They cut down several small trees and they jointly lever giant rocks off the road into the ravine so that there's just a space wide enough for a quite nail-biting drive between the rocks on one side and the precipice on the other, and off you go again to the next rockfall. Your university training has prepared you to deal with the rockfalls that will undoubtedly block your personal career paths on several occasions. And just remember that you graduated with enough tools in your toolkit to push them aside and be on your way. During my career, I've had to do my share of navigation through uncharted territory while clearing rockfalls along the way. At the time, it can seem very tough, but in retrospect, it is overcoming these challenges that give you the greatest satisfaction. I'll finish with two examples. When I arrived in New Zealand, tuberculosis in cattle and deer was a serious and worsening problem. And shortly after I arrived, I attended a meeting where all the experts in the country sat around and agreed that there was no real answer to TB being spread by possums. I disagreed and said that every disease problem of this nature has a practical control method, but it would take a lot of work to find it. 12 years and several postgraduate students later, we'd shown that the way in which TB spread from possums to cattle and deer was quite different from what had been assumed, and that control was practical and cost-effective. Over those years, not only did we do the research, we also gave around 200 talks to communities throughout the country to show what needed to be done. And at those meetings, we had to deal with lots of skeptics. 20 years on, there's been a dramatic reduction in the number of cattle and deer herds with TB problems, and everyone now agrees that control is possible. Similarly, when avian influenza H5N1 first started killing people in Asia, it caused great surprise and concern because a true avian influenza virus had never before caused serious human disease. There were countless different armchair experts who offered answers as to how the infection was spreading and how to stop it. Dr. Jackson and I sat in Hanoi early in the epidemic with a world authority on influenza, who told us quite firmly he already knew the answer to this disease without doing any research, although he turned out to be completely wrong. We and others worked in multiple countries across Asia to understand the disease, and we now have a much clearer understanding of how this virus evolved and how such viruses can be controlled. We also know that there will be more of these viruses, and they are continuing to arise, although getting governments to respond effectively remains a challenge which unfortunately scientists are not in a position to fully resolve. These investigations and earlier work in Asia and in Europe have led to Massey being asked to undertake a wider role in dealing with emerging diseases. And there is now a continuing flow of internationally funded work coming to Massey to support its international role in managing health risks. Massey has built a reputation in this field which has been of value both to the university and to New Zealand. Building a reputation in an area of science requires long-term commitment, and my experience suggests that it takes about 10 years from beginning work in a particular field before substantial research money starts to flow. So you need to play a very long game and build relationships over an extended period to be successful. The team at Massey, which I led for 23 years, has been very effective in dealing with a wide variety of disease problems, both in New Zealand and around the world. using an approach based on making no initial assumptions, but asking searching questions and painstakingly piecing together the jigsaw of factors for each disease. So I conclude with my simple advice to new graduates. That is to build your skills and your reputation for achieving results, and success will follow. I wish you well in that endeavour.
Thank you, Professor Morris, for that inspiring address and a very worthy recipient of a university medal. I think for you graduates today, the key message is simply that today marks the start, not the end of your learning. It is now my pleasure to invite Manawatū to present an item. Manawatū is the Maori Students Association of Massey University's Manawatū campus in Palmerston North. Defined as a whānau made up of students who identify themselves as Maori, their mission statement is, and I quote, "to provide a culturally safe environment for Maori students to fulfil their potential within Massey University, and to acknowledge Te Riti o Waitangi as a founding document of Aotearoa and Tino Rangatiratanga." They will be performing Kia Ia I Te Ko Ino, composed by Tika Uru, no Tima, Puawai, Taiapa, Tai Atu, Tipini, and Pari Kia Tapi Atu.
Come on. Move to my.
Thank you, Manawatū, for your item. We will now proceed with the conferment of degrees and the award of university certificates and diplomas.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the Graduate Diploma in Rural Studies the candidates I am about to name. Julie, Pamela, Dawn, Gaukroger. Andrea Claire Whitehead. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the Graduate Diploma in Science the candidates I am about to name. Julie Ann Thompson. Dancheng Yang. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the Postgraduate Diploma in Agri-Commerce the candidates I am about to name. Amir Desai. Clinton James Smythe. Maria Jose Solavera Perez. Tama Yamuna. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the Postgraduate Diploma in Agri-Science the candidate I am about to name. Salisi Matakinuia Kauwhanonga. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the Postgraduate Diploma in Environmental Management the candidates I am about to name. Obaking Modongo, with merit. Brodie Derek Rouse, with merit. Hatapon Sisawong, with merit. Nick Patrick Stewart. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the Postgraduate Diploma in Science the candidates I am about to name. Yue Duan. Janice Amity Rakankath Krishnan. Deepak Mohan. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Agri-Science with honours the graduands I am about to name. Hamish Colin Nielsen Beard, First Class Honours. Jordan Cameron Berry, Second Class Honours. Kelly Joelle Doretta Collier, Second Class Honours. Michael Gray French, First Class Honours. Jamal Abbas Howes, First Class Honours. James Colin Lissington, First Class Honours. Adam Samuel Richards, Second Class Honours. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Bachelor of Environmental Management with honours the graduands I am about to name. Carl James Duncan, First Class Honours. Jordan David Elmers, First Class Honours. Carla Frances Muller, First Class Honours. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Master of Agri-Science the graduands I am about to name. James Philip Lawrence Oltain with merit. Eduardo Antonio Sandoval Cruz. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Master of Environmental Management the graduand I am about to name. Melody Natasha Mendez, with distinction. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Master of Science the graduands I am about to name. Lana Michelle Bishop. Mun A. Tan, Second Class Honours. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Master of Veterinary Medicine the graduands I am about to name. Kerry Teresa McKelvey. Magdalene Su Ri Shi, with distinction. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation in the degree of Master of Veterinary Studies the graduands I am about to name. Raymond Hamonga, Second Class Honours. Sylvia Anna Onaza. Chancellor, the degrees are also conferred and the certificates and diplomas are also awarded to those who are in absentia. Thank you, Chancellor.
Chancellor, we now reach the point in our ceremony where we recognise the efforts of our doctoral students. You mentioned earlier this is our heritage year. Massey University has been a university for 50 years this year, so it's a major occasion for us to be graduating you on this occasion. We should tell you that about 2,460 PhDs have been granted in that 50-year period. You're joining very impressive company. So we'll watch your progress with interest, and we ask you please to stay in touch with your university. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for graduation the degree of Doctor of Philosophy the graduands I am about to name. Melissa Mary Basil Jones. Sheep leather is low in strength, and a greater understanding of its structure could assist in designing processing steps to increase that strength. Ms. Basil Jones used small-angle X-ray scattering to investigate the structure and distribution of fibrillar collagen, which is a major structural protein in sheep leather. The results have assisted in the development of processing techniques for producing leather with more desirable characteristics. Please welcome Dr. Basil Jones. Michael Robert Bretherton. The manner in which rainfall enters or runs off sloping soil surfaces is poorly understood, particularly with regard to how soil water repellency affects this process. Mr. Bretherton developed a soil-water balance model for sloping land under pasture. His research indicates that while some soil water repellent-induced runoff did occur, it only made a small effect on soil water storage, on pasture production, and on stream flow. Dr. Bretherton. Christine Lynn Christensen. As a global exporter of quality milk products, the New Zealand dairy industry requires proven mitigation strategies to reduce nutrient and fecal microbe losses in waterways. Mrs. Christensen implemented duration-controlled grazing, which is grazing for 4 hours at a time, and returned collected effluent to the paddock uniformly. Duration-controlled grazing reduced nitrogen leaching losses by an average of 52%, making this a practical management strategy for use on farm. Dr. Christensen. John Paul Edwards. The process of harvesting milk is a time-consuming, labour-intensive task on dairy farms. Mr. Edwards benchmarked current levels of milking efficiency on commercial dairy farms and investigated strategies for improving that performance. Manipulating the end-of-milking decision criteria of automatic cluster removers and correctly matching dairy size and operator work routine enabled the most efficient milking. Dr. Edwards. Samuel James Gregory. New Zealand's largest environmental challenge may be remediation of approximately 50,000 highly contaminated sheep dip sites. Mr. Gregory investigated contamination of food and water sources from these sites and developed a technique to remediate or clean up contamination, which resulted in a 92% reduction in clean-up time compared to current methods. Dr. Gregory. Karen Thelma Palmer. Wetland ecological systems are threatened environmental resources. Dr. Palmer found that the ecological health of the Kapiti Coast urban wetlands is less than half their potential. The Urban Wetland Health Index that she developed provides a template for resilient and sustainable urban developments, as well as a focus for future monitoring of urban wetlands. Dr. Palmer. Conrad Raymond Schaefer. The dairy industry crystallises milk sugar lactose, which is a byproduct of the cheese-making process. Further processing produces inhaler-grade lactose, which is commonly used as a drug carrier in asthma inhalers. Mr. Shaver invented a novel crystallisation technique for producing lactose crystals that could be directly used for inhaler-grade lactose. Dr. Shafer.
At the conclusion of the ceremony, guests are requested to remain in their seats until the processions have assembled in the foyer. I declare this congregation to be adjourned. Please join with us in singing the national anthem, God Defend New Zealand, led by Rongamai Taiapa, the words of which are printed on the screen. We will begin with the Maori version of the anthem. Please stand.
Of love we meet, hear our voices we entreat, God defend our free land, God Pacific's triple stars, from the shafts of strife and war, make her praises heard afar. God